On Monday, February the 11th, at approximately 4:15 p.m., Antonio Brown Sr. escaped from the Saline County Sheriff's Office. The search commenced immediately looking for him. On Tuesday, February 12th, a warrant was issued for aggravated escape from custody and was issued by the Saline County District Court. On Tuesday, February 12th, the United States Marshals Task Force began assisting the Saline County Sheriff's Office in the search for Antonio Brown Sr. And then on Wednesday, February the 13th, at approximately 9:30 p.m. in the south part of Wichita, Antonio Brown Sr. called the United States Marshals Service and surrendered to them. He was subsequently then taken to the Sedgwick County Detention Facility and then returned to the Saline County Sheriff's Office jail this morning. He is in custody. He will be facing additional charges of aggravated escape from custody. Court proceedings will commence once we get all the paperwork filed with that.
Do you know, we heard that he called from a payphone. Is that what happened?
From the best of my understanding, he called the United States Marshals Service. I do not know if it was from a payphone or not, but he did make contact by phone with the Marshals Service.
What time did he get back to Salina? Did you have him back in the jail?
This morning. He came back this morning. He was brought back. It was roughly 8:30 or so this morning.
Do you know how he got to Wichita?
We have no idea. The investigation is continuing. We're looking into that.
Do you know if anyone helped him?
We are continuing the investigation into that matter.
Now, with the investigation, I know you guys are also doing an internal investigation. Have you guys confirmed if this is human error or if this is part of the system that you guys have that maybe had a malfunction or what?
Right now, we are still doing the internal investigation. I'm really not at a point to say it was one thing or another, but we are looking at everything in this situation, hoping to get to the bottom of it and see exactly what happened.
Is there a time frame do you expect to complete that kind of investigation where you go, this is definitely what happened?
There's a lot of people to talk to, and I'll be the one conducting that internal investigation, and it could be anywhere from a week to a week and a half. We're already started on that process, so it just takes time to talk to people.
Do you know how soon he got to Wichita after he escaped on Monday? Do you know the time frame, how long he was in Wichita?
I can't release that right now. The investigation is still going as to what actually happened.
What was he wearing when you found him?
That I do not know.
Okay.
That I do not know.
And what is it like for you guys to actually find the person who you guys have been looking for all week?
It feels really good. I got a phone call last night from one of the investigators. It's a sigh of relief. I know the community was really wanting him captured. We did too. And I know that everybody in the surrounding communities wanted him captured, and thankfully he was captured. Nobody else was injured. He wasn't injured, so that makes us extremely happy.
And this could have had a very different ending too. If he didn't go in like he did, it could have had a very different ending. Are you guys thankful that?
Yes, we are very thankful. He did surrender. He called the Marshal Service. He did escape, but he did do the right thing by calling and giving himself up, and I'm very thankful for that.
How much more in a way of an investigation do you think you're going to have before you can release information as far as how he got to Wichita, if he was aided in any form?
Well, we're looking at, again, it's an ongoing investigation. It could be 2 days, it could be 2 weeks by the time we talk to the people we need to talk to.
Does that investigation trace back to Mitchell County too, just to look at the procedures from the minute he left there do you look at that as well?
I will be looking at that as far as the internal investigation, but for right now we're centering strictly on what happened here at the Saline County Sheriff's Office.
Did he give a reason for turning himself in? Was there anything?
I can't discuss that right now.
Did he change his appearance at all?
I saw him in custody when they brought him in, and he was already in the orange outfit. So I don't know again what clothes he was wearing when he was arrested.
Facial hair still the same?
Yeah, he looks like Antonio Brown Sr.
Do you have any new mugs of him that you could distribute to them?
They will have a new photograph of him, I believe, once they book him into jail on the new charges, and that will just take some time. I don't know what order he was in, but that will be back on the computer when he is booked in.
Did marshals go pick him up, or did he walk into detention center in Wichita? Or Do you know how that went down?
From my knowledge, he called the United States Marshal Service, and then they located him,
Okay.
took him into custody.
Was it at a payphone?
That again, I stated before, I don't know the details. I know it was a phone, so I don't know if it was a payphone or what.
So you're not able to tell us where they picked him up at?
South part of Wichita.
South part of Wichita?
Yeah. And I'm sure this will, you'll get more details once the case is completed. But for right now, I'm not going to release that information.
Did,
He had relatives in Wichita.
Yes, I believe he does have relatives in Wichita.
did he, and you don't know if anyone actually helped. Did he have a car or something? Do you know how he got down to Wichita?
Right now, we are still looking into that. That is part of the investigation, so I can't really comment on that.
Would you anticipate any further arrest, or is that a possibility as the investigation continues?
That's a very strong possibility of additional arrests.
So who are all of the law enforcement agencies that have assisted with you guys?
I'm glad you asked, because we are extremely grateful to not only law enforcement agencies, but to other agencies here in Saline County and throughout the state of Kansas. And I'd like to say a big thank you for all those involved and who helped, including the Saline Police Department, the Kansas Highway Patrol, the Kansas Bureau of Investigation, the Saline County Sheriff's Office, Saline County Attorney's Office, and especially United States Marshal Service, the task force, fugitive task force that came in. They actually came in and assisted us with this, with not only equipment but also bodies and officers. They were a big asset to the Saline County Sheriff's Office in locating Antonio Brown Sr.
Did he have a cell phone?
I can't comment on that right now. Sorry.
Do you know, did you have Wichita narrowed down when he did turn himself in? Was that a place you were looking?
We had locations throughout the state of Kansas. We had locations outside the state of Kansas. Basically had gotten down to the point where he probably didn't have any other place to go.
Brent, when you talk about the Marshal Service Task Force, can you ballpark numbers of bodies that they provide for you?
Up here in Saline County that actually showed up to the Sheriff's Office, I believe there were anywhere from 10 to 16 people
With the
at
Marshal
one time.
Service?
Yeah, combined.
How many people overall were involved in the search? You have a ballpark
I
figure
can
from all the
even,
agencies?
we had agencies from Oklahoma, we had agencies
Really?
from Dodge City calling in, inquiring and looking. So I think about every law enforcement agency in Kansas was, vigilant and keeping their eyes open.
When you said you had nowhere else to go, do you mean Wichita, nowhere else to go, or?
Just anyway, we had contacted so many people and, tried to find out where he was at and making contacts, and I don't think he had any other place to turn.
And then Tuesday, or the first press conference, the day after he escaped, the sheriff said that there was special equipment that I think the marshals were going to bring in that would help you find him. Do you know what that is?
I do not know the name of the equipment. It was not used. Whatever he was talking about, that particular case, it was something that we could possibly have used, but I do not believe that it was used.
Just to be specific, when you say 10 to 16 guys, U.S. Marshals Task Force, were they part of a command post here, or is that the task force that he surrendered to?
No, that was what we had here at the Sheriff's Office. We basically ran a command post out of the office here.
So there were additional, that number was just here.
That was just here.
Gotcha.
And there was marshals and task force and other law enforcement agencies throughout the state. So the numbers of agencies and the numbers of bodies and prosecutor's office is extremely high. A lot of work went into this.
How'd you sleep last night?
I slept good. Yeah. Yep.
Would you be able to tell us, or who would be able to ask about his sentencing, where that stands now? Is that going to
As far as
his
the murder?
previous the murder?
What he was
sentencing?
scheduled for
That-
on Tuesday?
That, I believe once he gets booked into the Saline County Jail, they will set up some court dates for him to go over for sentencing. I do not know what that date would be. That would probably be a question for the county attorney's office.
Is he in any extra special kind of security now? Like he's made it out once? Or?
Anytime anybody's classified as an escape risk, everybody's treated securely back here. But once you're labeled as an escape risk, you are dealt with a little bit differently.
Now, a lot of people around town, I mean, we've been hearing, I know that me personally, when I've gone around covering the story, there are a lot of people who are really upset with the law enforcement agencies around town. They don't feel safe because they think that if this has happened once, it could happen again. What word of advice are you giving to people around town?
I live in this county. I live close to the city limits of Salina. I have family. I was concerned. You know, my family was concerned, and I don't blame them. I regret that this happened, and we are looking at this, and we're going to try to make sure it doesn't happen again. But I understand why they would be upset and concerned about it. We certainly don't want this to happen again.
Have you heard anything from the family of the toddler? Have you contacted them?
I personally have not.
Did you publicize the marshal's number or something for him to know to contact them, or how did?
That I'm not for sure how he came up with that number. I'm sure that, you know, when the officers go out and make contact with people, they give them a lot of business cards, and much like what we do. So that number could have been relayed to him that way.
And have you seen him since he's been booked, or since he's been back here yourself?
Yes.
Does he have any? What's his mannerisms like? What's he seen?
Looks like Antonio Brown Sr.
Is he subdued or demeanor any different than what it was back when he was in jail before?
I didn't know him when he was in jail. He was very cooperative this morning. So that's really all I have. Unless